Welcome back to the Essentially You podcast, all about reinventing your health with safer, cheaper, more effective, natural solutions and powerful lifestyle changes so that you become the CEO of your health. I am your host, Dr. Mariza Snyder. We are now 15 days into the new year, and I want to know, how are you feeling? How does the transition into the new year feel for you? Now, I have to say that it feels good to say goodbye to 2018. Looking back, as I've done the last couple of weeks, I realize that I've experienced more growth and life lessons last year than I can possibly count. I think because I really stretched myself. You know, it's funny how your stuff tends to bubble up when you step into new endeavors. And I stepped into a lot of new endeavors. Definitely, there were some scary things that I stepped into. Last year in 2018, I launched this podcast in March, and that's so exciting because we're almost up to a year. It's almost been a year since we launched the podcast, so thank you so much for being on this journey with me. I finished my upcoming book, The Essential Oils Hormone Solution, and let me tell you, not only did I finish the book, but I think it went through 10 plus edits, so it feels very good for it to be coming out in less than a month's time. I hosted the Essential Oils Hormone Summit and raised $150,000 for foundations that focused on supporting women's reproductive rights around the world. And then I also spoke in front of 38,000 people live. So last year felt like a pretty big year, and I have a feeling that this year is going to feel even bigger. But luckily, I have my Superwoman blend with me at all times, so I am prepared for whatever life is going to be bringing my way. Now, one of my favorite ways to start the new year is to take a moment to reflect and to really choose a word that embraces what you want for the new year. And how I come up with this new year is I ask myself, what do I want more of in life for 2019? Or just simply asking yourself, what do I want more out of life? What do I want to experience more of? And you kind of get a sense of what that's going to be. So I would love to know, what is your one word for 2019? What do you want to experience more of? Reach out to me on Instagram and let me know. If you haven't found me on Insta yet, it's at Dr. Mariza, so at DrMariza. And just in case you were wondering, well, I don't know if I should be following her, I promise it is totally worthwhile. I share some of my favorite hormone essential oil blends. I share all kinds of great hormone information. I just love sharing. Some of my best fun content happens on Insta. And a couple weeks ago, I did ask people what their one word is, and it was really fun to get hundreds of different messages. And some of the words were clarity and focus and forgiveness and abundance. And what were some of the other ones? Joy and health. I mean, it was just so great to see all the different the words that people were coming up with. So I would absolutely love to hear what your one word is. Now, my one word is love, and I just want to let you know that I am wishing you so much love and joy for this beautiful new year. Now, as I mentioned a couple weeks ago, during podcast number 52, which was on the number one precursor to hormone chaos. By the way, I had such a great time writing that episode. But what I said in that episode was that now more than ever, we must advocate for our health and take our well-being into our own hands. And the great news about this, although that can feel a little scary and it can feel like a lot of responsibility, and to some degree it's both of those things as well, but that your body is primed for healing miracles. And I know that it may not feel that way sometimes, but I have seen it over and over and over again in the women that I've worked with in my programs and worked with personally, that your body really is ready to be well. That's literally what we're going to be talking about today, is how do we get our body to that place? So what we're diving into today is really what I think might change the way that you think about healing your hormones and your body. So I'm taking a deep dive today into the 3 critical reasons why your hormones need a detox. And not just your hormones, your whole body. Because guess what? When you reset the hormones with a detox, you're also resetting everything else as well. So it's just that kind of 2 birds with 1 stone, or 2 big win-wins. Resetting your hormones with a detox and also helping to support so many other functions in the body as well. Now, this is a major topic in my new upcoming book, The Essential Oils Hormone Solution. I actually devote an entire section of the book. Part 3 of the book is committed to my 14-day hormone rescue program that incorporates my hormone trifecta. See, when I was working to heal myself and my mama's hormones several years ago, a long time ago, I'll be honest with you, I felt very lost and I was trying everything. And through a lot of trial and error and a lot of research and a lot of reading and a lot of discovery, I had figured out this 3-part plan that is designed to not only bring our reproductive hormones back on track, but our metabolic and stress hormones as well. And best believe I included it in my new book in part 3 because I couldn't keep this amazing hormone trifecta a secret. It's time to share it with the world. And after it has worked for thousands of women, I'm ready to bring it to even more women. Now, since we're mentioning the book, and goodness knows, it's all I can think about right now because it's so close to coming out. I can't believe we're less than a month away. Part of me is beyond excited. I can't even contain myself. Other part of me is super freaked out because it's a very vulnerable book. I tell my story. I share a lot in that book like I've never shared before. This is book number 7, and it has been a #1 bestseller on Amazon for the 7th week in a row, although it's hit a #1 bestselling list on Amazon since September, but it's been consistently every single day for the last 7 weeks. I just want to say thank you so much. So I'm experiencing all the emotions today. I am so excited to share this book with the world. And I literally today, that's why I'm having all the emotions and I'm so happy to be recording this podcast. But I just received the official finished book in the mail yesterday. And let me tell you, it is the most incredible feeling to actually get to see, for the first time, my finished book as a physical book. And it is so pretty. It's not that books need to be pretty, but I am so happy with how it looks. It feels feminine. It just feels like all the things I wanted it to feel. And it is my first hardcover book. I can't tell you how many years ago I was dreaming of a hardcover book with my picture on it. Now, my picture isn't in the front, it's in the back. So we went with a very professional, very dignified cover. And then we have my picture on the back of it, but it's a dream come true. So I can't wait for you to get your hands on it in less than a month from now. I mentioned before, this isn't my first book. It's the book I am most proud of, and I am so grateful to so many people for making this book happen, for you, for believing in me, because I wouldn't have been able to create this book without support of so many people. So I created this book, in case you were wondering, because there was a time when I didn't have answers that I needed to heal myself. And it was a very, very difficult road. And I wanted to write a resource that you could turn to with confidence so that you didn't feel so alone, that you didn't feel so isolated on this journey. I wanted you to know that I related to you because I had been there. And so the book is really designed to empower you to have these solutions at your fingertips for things from stress to anxiousness to cravings to low libido, fatigue, brain fog, mood swings. So much is so much is in this book that you're going to be able to address. And it's broken up in a way that makes it so simple, giving you the why for what's going on in your body, giving you the science behind that, and then giving you the solution so that you feel armed and ready to make good choices for your body without having to feel super overwhelmed. And the great thing about it is that it's backed up with hardcore research. The bibliography is 40 pages of cited research articles. So take that, essential oil skeptics out there in the world. And in case you didn't know, just in case you didn't know at this point, it is available for pre-sale. It's been available for pre-sale for quite some time, and you can get it anywhere at this moment. So I would be very honored if you grabbed a copy for yourself and your best friend, maybe any woman that you feel really could use that message of hope, really could have everything that they need to balance their hormones in one book. This is the book to get, because all the women in my life are getting a copy, and I already have pre-ordered books coming in. I have a ton of books coming in because, I got to buy my books as well. And I always say, who doesn't need an Act Right blend or a hot flash remedy or an instant energy and focus remedy? Because I know I do. And I wrote this book with me in mind, knowing that so many women have been where I've been. And even today, I still need a lot of support, right? This is a healing journey. This is a journey we'll always be on. So having the right tools at your beck and call every single day, like balancing your hormones in your purse, or, just having the things that you need in the moments that you need it, that's what this book was designed for. And if you do decide to pre-order a copy, which I hope you do, you're going to get instant access to over 300 bonuses, including my self-care video series, my hormone masterclass series, my best hormone cheat sheets, the top 5 interviews from the EO Hormone Summit, and so much more. And what you can do is once you order the book, you just got to go to the book bonus page, which is just drmariza.com, hormone book. Yes, it'll be in the show notes. It's on the website. It's super easy to find. It's all over Instagram. I mean, if you need to find that hormone book page, the book bonus page, don't worry. It is everywhere. We want to make sure that you are getting your bonuses. I've had thousands of people already claim those instant bonuses in their inbox like that. So you're going to want to do that. The last thing I wanted to mention about the book, and then we'll get on into this conversation, is I'm going to be going on a West Coast book tour because I live on the West Coast. I'm sorry, East Coast people, but I do live over on this side. So starting in San Diego, I'm going to be moving up the West Coast. I'm going to San Jose, Sacramento, Santa Rosa, Portland, Bend, Oregon, Washington. So if you want to check out the book tour in case you're in the area, it's just drmariza.com/book tour. I'd love to see you, love to meet you in person. I will be doing the book tour towards the end of February, but all the dates are in there, so you can check it out. And then I also just want to take a moment and thank you from the bottom of my heart, as always. Each week, the Essentially You podcast is continuing to gain momentum, and it is all thanks to your word of mouth. I know you are sharing this. I see you sharing the episodes on Instagram, on Facebook. You guys are emailing me, you're direct messaging me, but the insights and the challenges and the things that you are changing because you're listening to these episodes, I can't tell you how much it means to me to know that some of this information is really having an impact on your life. Goodness knows it takes me hours and hours to research and put these together just so you feel good walking away from an episode, knowing that you can make just a couple of changes here and there. It doesn't have to be a whole big swoop life change. Just a couple changes. My gosh, they really do move the needle. And if you haven't heard the good news yet, I am releasing 2 podcast episodes each week. And that's going to be happening. It already actually started this month, started the first of the month. It's every Tuesday and Friday. And Friday, this particular Friday, I'm going to be interviewing Dr. Samantha about overcoming overwhelm. I am so excited about this conversation. I can't wait for you to hear it. Now, I'm going to be spoiling you with some epic interviews in the coming months. I want to make sure that you're feeling so well supported on your healing journey. And I know that you are going to have such a great time in the coming months. I mean, I have the full agenda into March. You're going to love it. And if you are loving these episodes, I just want you to take a moment and share a podcast episode with someone that you love, because it is through word of mouth that we are spreading the message of women's hormones and reproductive health. And let me tell you, we could all use a little bit more of that, right? So many women are not educated on exactly what their rights are, what types of techniques, diagnostics, testing. There's so much unknown out there, and so often we're dismissed when we come to our doctors with symptoms because we don't meet the normal criteria. That's such a big reason why I put this together, is that you really feel so empowered to really make those choices, ask the right questions so that you are getting the results that you're looking for. All right. Let's get started into this topic. We're talking about 3 critical reasons why your hormones need a detox. And let me say that I actually have a lot more reasons than 3, but my goodness, we'd be here all day if I covered all of them. So let's just start with the 3. I do have a blog that's going to be coming out on this topic as well. So you'll see that there are others, but I feel like these 3 are really all encompassing on what we're looking for and why you so desperately need to give your hormones a reset. Now, as you may know, our modern world, the world that we're living in every single day, it lends to more than just feeling overwhelmed and overworked. We are exposed to daily toxins that literally wreak havoc on our body. Each day we accumulate so much junk emotionally, chemically, and physically. You can feel it. And this leaves our endocrine system especially vulnerable to toxins in our cleaning products, our over-the-counter drugs, even our personal care products. Now, let me tell you, it took me so long to break up with my personal care products, knowing that they had endocrine disruptors in them. I know how difficult that can be. And what's so scary, I think I had to read this statistic over and over and over again to finally say, you have got to go shampoo, you've got to go secret deodorant, you got to go Maybelline mascara, it all had to go. But women, the average woman, is exposed to over 100 toxic chemicals every single day. Just by using the personal care, by using the cleaning products, by taking the over-counter, medicines, all of that just adds up over time. And it has such a negative impact on our reproductive and metabolic hormones. Like, there is shampoo and conditioner that literally contains obesogens. And I know nobody wants that. So these persistent toxins can stay in our body for years, slowly creating damage that affects our sleep, our energy, our brain function, brain fog, anybody, and even causes us to gain weight, which is totally unfair. It's no wonder why we can't lose weight, even when we're doing everything right. And the solution to these mounting issues is to really give your hormones a detox. Now, this is what detoxing is. Detoxing our body and our hormones is really an absolute must, and it's one of the areas that gets overlooked by most doctors. Detoxing means cleaning out the body, removing toxins, cleaning the gunked up hormone receptor sites, and resetting metabolic and reproductive hormones. We clean our home all the time. We even put Drano in our drains. We declutter our desks, all so that things flow smoothly in our space and in our minds so that we can perform optimally. So why wouldn't we remove the gunk from our hormonal systems that build up from the chemicals in our foods, our endocrine disruptors in our plastics, and our heavy metals in our environment? Given the environment that we're exposed to each day, I just truly want to recommend that everyone does a detox for at least 14 days a couple times a year. And this practice is critical in maintaining cellular longevity, happy functioning hormones, and critical cellular communication between your hormones and the receptor sites so that information is actually getting there. Detoxifying the body can literally flip the switch towards healing in just a matter of a couple of weeks. That is how profound your body is ripe for healing miracles. Now, before I dive into the big reasons to detoxify, I realize that the idea of detox has gotten a bad rap. And there are some dangers out there when it comes to detoxing. I don't necessarily recommend all detoxes out there. I'm not a big fan of the master clans necessarily. There's just a lot of them that I think can be very dangerous. But when you properly detoxify, you are eliminating toxic buildup in your digestive system and your arteries. You are neutralizing toxic substances that may be impairing your liver, your kidneys, your bowels, and other critical organs that need to function properly. So here are the big reasons to detox. Well, the number one reason, because your body needs a reset before it can begin to heal itself. How can you expect to keep your body doing what it's meant to do when it's fighting this side war against toxins? When your body is working to remove toxins 24/7, most particularly your liver is doing that job, not to say that your kidneys and your gallbladder and there are other organs that get involved as well. But when your liver is constantly being bombarded with just toxic issues, it can't do the other 499 plus jobs it has got to do. And because we women do whatever it takes to be all the things to all the people all the time at the expense of ourselves and our hormones, we are left with a whole host of symptoms due to hormonal imbalance caused by toxins in the body caused by toxins, and our body's just trying to compensate for those moments. So things like fatigue, brain fog, belly fat, cravings, achy joints, insomnia, decreased libido, skin issues, mood swings, and anxiety, depression. Oh my gosh, the list can go on and on and on. And these common health concerns have major implications on our hormones and our bodies. That's why we need a detox so that our bodies can effectively reset and function the way that they were meant to. So let's dig under the surface and look scientifically at the top 3 benefits to detoxifying your hormones. Number 1, and we go into even more detail in episode 50, why loving your liver is key to hormone balance. But number 1 is your sluggish liver gets unclogged. Now, your liver's main job is to filter out toxins and excrete them from the body. And again, I go into a ton of phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification processes in episode 50 in case you want to check that out. But guess what happens when hormone levels are out of whack and your body begins throwing excess at the liver? It simply cannot keep up. When your liver is sluggish and it can't properly break down hormone metabolites, you are going to experience low energy, heavy menstrual periods, fibrocystic breast, and mood swings, just to name a couple, right? There's so much more that can even happen there. So when you detox your hormones, you want to allow your levels to reset naturally and allow the liver to get back to doing its primary job, to keeping your body clean, because it gives your body back that extra time and energy it's spent trying to sort out the slurry of excess. And let me tell you, when your liver is working at peak capacity, you're going to receive some pretty amazing results. Your skin gets clear, your energy returns, your bowel movements become more regular, and your mood improves. And your digestive system is functioning better. You're able to break down proteins and carbohydrates and fats better. I mean, just so much more comes from when your liver is happy. So even something as simple as drinking only water can make a huge difference in a number of areas in your life, as it will help your body naturally flush out toxins while stabilizing blood sugar levels and warding off frequent cravings. You know, it's so interesting about thirst versus hunger. So often, your body thinks it's hungry when it's actually thirsty. So whenever someone wants to detox but is scared to try, I always suggest starting with a simple switch, like drinking only water or water infusions. And I don't mean just drinking only water and not eating. I just mean subbing out anything else for water. Just focusing on drinking water for like a week's time along with whatever meals you're doing. Teas are fine as well, but cutting out any sodas, cutting out any wine, cutting out all of that and just focusing on water. You'd be amazed at how quickly you'll notice a difference. All of those added calories from high sugar, caffeinated toxic drinks definitely doesn't help to get your body on track. But if you were to give up some of those things, not only will you see yourself probably losing a little bit of weight, but really helping to reset the liver. Now, just drinking water isn't enough, but it's a great start to kind of experience what it would feel like to be supporting your liver. Number 2, dangerous belly fat disappears. You know, one of my dear friends, Dr. Alan Christensen, who's going to be on the podcast in a couple weeks, has a new book coming out. It's coming out pretty soon called The Metabolism Reset Diet. And he also wrote The Adrenal Reset Diet. What was so interesting about interviewing Dr. Alan Christensen, and I've been talking to Dr. Alan Christensen about this for years now, but he tells us that the danger is not in weight itself. The danger is in your waist circumference. And that's exactly what we're talking about here. How dangerous belly fat is to your cardiovascular system, your metabolic system. I mean, my goodness, it is a key indicator for mortality. So, and that's what his book is all about. So if there was a book you wanted to pick up, if you wanted to really decrease that midsection, to shrink the waistline, it's going to be Dr. Alan Christensen. I do cover it in my new hormone detox program as well. My hormone detox program is specifically geared towards also decreasing that waistline, because I am concerned most particularly for women, because it is a key indicator for cardiovascular disease. So most people don't realize that your metabolism and your weight are controlled by hormones, and that stress affects those hormones as well. So rather than set yourself up for failure with another deprivation diet, right? It's really about resetting those hormones, disrupting the bad patterns, and getting them on a fair playing field. Dieting isn't the answer, but we know that because it's never been the answer. When we deprive our bodies of food, it just jumps into starvation mode. It starts storing fat, guess where? In our visceral belly fat. Ultimately, we end up stressing out our body, and our body's wondering, when am I going to eat again, right? And this is really an internal stressful situation. You know, we always talk about stress being a perceived experience, but there's so much stress happening in the system, right? Your body can continue to create even more stress, kind of like a spiral. So if your body is under the impression that you're in survival mode because you are starving yourself, then you've got some internal disruption, some internal wars happening. And this is where we've got some really important hormones that play a role, because when we're deprived, we tend to increase these metabolic hormones that are telling your body you're hungry. This throws off leptin, it throws off insulin, and it ends up increasing cortisol levels, which we know can continue to create a survival circumstance. We talk all about that in the number one precursor to hormone chaos. We begin to lose willpower. When our cortisol levels are high, it completely hijacks our cortex, which creates, our inability to have willpower. We tend to overeat and binge because your body thinks it's in survival mode and you're not going to have another meal. And then it just creates this stress state where you're continuing to store basically fuel as stubborn belly fat. Now, adding fuel to the fire is the scientific fact that all calories are not created equal. Those calories that you get from sugars and carbs bring on added danger to the situation. And addiction steps into play as well, right? We know sugar is addictive and kind of just leads us into this crazy spiral, sets off the insulin train, causes us to create inflammation. And what's really driving all of this is just haywire metabolic hormones. So, with numerous research studies linking increased belly fat with heart disease, cancer, and other serious health risks, it's really time to consider what it looks like to decrease our waistline and how we can dramatically decrease our risk in one fell swoop. Now, the beauty of a hormone detox is, especially when it's combined with hormone-loving foods, you can absolutely reset your metabolic hormones. If anything, one of the biggest reasons why I have women do a hormone detox is I want to reset the metabolic hormones. I want to reset leptin. I want to reset thyroid hormones. I want to reset insulin and cortisol. I want to reset all of those hormones that are involved in our metabolism. And what happens when you have a food-driven detox plan, you begin to neutralize those toxins in your cells. You promote that longevity, as I mentioned, and most importantly, you really create that cellular communication between the hormones and the receptor sites. So a food-driven detox really is focused on removing hormone saboteurs, and that flips the switch towards healing in just a matter of in some instances, up to 72 hours. I mean, if you want to flip the switch on re-regulating insulin levels, you're talking about 72 hours. But, if you're looking for a full on, you want to make a massive change, you want to lose 7+ pounds, you're looking at a 14-day detox guaranteed. That really gives the body. And I even recommend sometimes 14 days is not enough for everyone. Sometimes it's up to 21 days. It just really depends on your body. If you don't see the results you want in 14 days, I always tell people, just do it for another 7. And I know another 7 sounds a little bit crazy, but I've done a lot of detoxes for 21 days and have seen massive, massive changes. It's amazing what your body can do when you put the right foods into it. You bring on the hormone trifecta that I talk about so you can get your body back on track. So when you remove these food saboteurs, guess what? You also begin to lose weight, and without even trying to lose weight. And you don't cave towards those cravings anymore. Your metabolism is fueled by healthy whole foods that serve as fuel rather than work against your body. You begin to rebalance those hormones, creating better energy, making sure that leptin levels can start working normally rather than thinking that your body may never eat again. Your energy gets replenished when all of these hormones are back on track and functioning properly, instead of being distracted by crazy up and down insulin levels. And you start to also improve your digestive system and lower elevated cortisol levels. And that's really the point. But the big part of this, number 2, is really helping to decrease that waistline, because we want to make sure that your body is storing fat and storing fuel in the right way. Number 3 is stress is managed with a hormone detox. So that's why your hormones need a detox, is we got to get that stress under control. So no matter what society leads us to believe, the science is hardcore on this point. Stress is not fuel. And let me tell you, this was a big lesson for me to learn. I survived on stress. I created success because of stress for years until my body couldn't take it anymore. Stress has beyond detrimental effects on your system, especially when it reaches chronic levels. I know so many of you are there right now or have been there before. Our bodies weren't meant to handle this 21st century crazy level, like modern world stress that we're constantly being thrown at. And it's the biggest hormonal imbalance that we're dealing with, deregulated cortisol levels. Because that's the survival hormone, it has a profound impact on the body. Cortisol, being that survival hormone, kicks your body into action to either flee or fight danger. But today's world isn't that simple. It's super complicated. Stressors aren't tigers and lions and bears. Stressors are, we forgot to pick our kid up from school, or we're scrolling through Instagram and we see something super upsetting, or we are working through a prior trauma and we get written up at work for something. There's just so many things are just a lot more complicated than they used to be. And when we're constantly triggering that response, our bodies really suffer from it. And we know what it looks like, right? We know what that looks like. It often manifests into so many other issues like anxiety, depression, crazy menopausal symptoms, weight gain, mood swings, fatigue. I mean, there's just so much that's going on when it comes to our bodies getting thrown off. And hence why it's so important. A big part of a hormone detox is really the self-care. And when you take the time to give your body the self-care that it needs, especially when you employ solutions like deep breathing, supported with essential oils, you allow it to detox and reset back to normal levels. Elevated cortisol levels are often the tip of the iceberg, causing a lot of your systems to react in a domino effect. And it's really time to get a handle on that. Because what I do know is that you cannot green smoothie your way out of chronic stress. And I know because I tried. I've been drinking green smoothies for 11 years, and there were a couple of those years when I was drinking green smoothies thinking that it was going to save me from myself. And although I'm sure the green smoothies helped, it wasn't enough. Green smoothies aren't going to help you change the way you feel about yourself. They're not going to have you put yourself back on that priority list. So it's super important that you recognize that supplements, caffeine, green smoothies, trips to the gym, energy drinks, none of these are addressing the problem of hormonal imbalance. Instead, they only serve to put the symptoms in the back seat so that you can carry on. And I know what it feels like to just carry on with that being your normal, thinking that you are doing just enough to get by. So focusing on how you fuel your body, making sure that you are doing the self-care, detoxing in a way that really supports you, not only with the food, but it's also the self-care, it's utilizing the essential oils. All of this is really bringing yourself back to balance. And it's that self-care that matters so much. So when I'm thinking about a hormone detox, I really do want to be addressing the stress aspect, because if that is the triggering thing that's leading you down that path to hormonal imbalance, we've got to make sure that we're working on that. So these three things are by far, I think, the most important. One, being able to manage stress and getting stress back under control, helping to manage and lower stubborn belly fat, but even just stubborn hormone-driven fat is super important to get under control, and being able to unclog that sluggish liver. Those are three big ones. And what's so cool about it is that they all play a role with one another. And this is really about reversing that domino effect, because as you've been listening, one hormone can deregulate a whole series of hormones and throw everything out of range. So the goal here is to reverse the domino effect, to disrupt the patterns, to get your hormones to normal levels, and to see how the body can fall back in line when everything is functioning better again. Because you know that if we don't work on reversing that domino effect, it is like digging through a swamp, trying to locate the key to your troubles. And one of the things I wanted to do as I was working on my new book is I wanted to create something that was complementary to the book, something that really gave more clarity and kind of set you on this journey with support and community and accountability, because sometimes we need a little bit of that as well. And so I recently have created this beautiful hormone masterclass, and the hormone masterclass series is designed to break down not only my hormone trifecta in more detail, but to really have you experience wins that you deserve on your hormone journey. I also give you clearly amazing wins for energy, sleeping better, overcoming cravings. And what's so great about this hormone masterclass is that it's completely free. I wanted to create something that was free and really gave you a lot of value. So if you are ready to take the next step with me and gain more clarity about how to heal your body and your hormones, I want to really encourage you and then come on and join me for this free hormone masterclass. The link will be in the show notes, but all it is if you want to go and register for it right now on your phone, it's just Dr. Mariza, drmariza.com/MC, short for masterclass, right? drmariza.com/MC. You can register for free right there. So that is what I wanted to share with you today. One of the things that I'm not going to go into a ton of detail today is exactly what a hormone detox looks like. I've developed a hormone detox program that is remarkable and results driven. And what I wanted to really bring to the table today for you was the hormone masterclass. So I hope you go check that out. And I just want to say thank you again, always, for stopping by and listening to the Essentially You podcast. Our next episode is all about overcoming overwhelm with Dr. Samantha. As you may know, this is one of my favorite subjects. We kind of touched upon it today. I oftentimes touch upon it because goodness knows, it just feels like so often we are stuck in this crazy place of overwhelm. And Dr. Samantha has a new book out there right now. I believe it's out at the moment. And we're going to be talking about her bucket theory for managing overwhelm. So she's got a lot of great tools for that. So I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. It's coming up pretty quickly because we've got 2 episodes a week with Dr. Samantha. Until then, love to hear from you about what that one word is for 2019. And I hope that you guys have an incredible week. Talk to you soon. Bye.